Jo. 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 Jo, jeg forstår det. Forstår.
Så du det? Så.
I like måte. Like. Måte. Glem alt du så. Glem alt du så. Alt du så.
I like måte, Dag. Hun er hyggelig. Hyggelig.
Jeg har sett lyset. Sett. Lyset.
Han er en hyggelig mann.
Sett.
Har du snakket med kona di?
Dette har vi snakket om flere ganger før. Snakket om. Dette. Har. Dette. Så du kampen? Så du kampen? Så du kampen?
Alle så på ham. Alle.
Har du sett
Brillene.
mine? Har du
Sett. Nye, treet. Disse.
skoene? Har
Sett.
bedre dager? Har du
Sett.
det?
Nye, treet.
Tror du det? Tror du
Jeg tror ikke det.
Hva kom først? Hva spiste du? Hva spiste? Endelig kom han. Spiste. Det var sykt gøy. Sykt. Denne pizzaen er sykt god. Hva har jeg spist?
Han har kommet nå.
Spist.
Din tid har kommet.
Hvordan det? Hvordan det?
Hvor kom han fra? Skjegg.
Spist.
Bade. Om. Jeg håper det. Jeg. Det. Håper. Det. Si.
Syltetøy.
Gjorde. Bla.
Tror du det? Tror du det? Ja, det har vi. Det har vi. Har han allerede funnet en leilighet?
Hva? Du.
Synes. Om.
Henne. Har. Du.
Sett. Det.
Nye. Treet. Ennå. Hun så henne i dag.
Vi snakket ikke med hverandre. Snakket. Ikke. Hverandre. Vi snakket ikke med hverandre. Med. Hverandre.
Ha en fantastisk dag. I like måte, dag. I like måte, dag.
Ha en hyggelig kveld. Du har kommet langt.
Hva? Du.
Synes.
Du.
Om.
Henne.
Ha en hyggelig kveld. Du har kommet langt.
Cap of what is day 18. Or what we talk about on day 18 about threat intelligence. In the previous session. So as for so we are going. Hello everyone. So we are back on day 19 of this series. So we are going to talk about like SOC analyst L1 series, and this is day 19. And previously we talked about the threat intelligence, the concepts of threat intelligence. And today we are going to talk about the common platforms we have for threat intelligence. So I'm going to share you some of the platforms normally SOC analysts use for their threat intelligence purpose. Okay. So as we are the previous session is happened some days before, so we will basically I will give you a quick recap of what is day 18 or what we talk about on day 18 about threat intelligence, and then we will talk about the threat intelligence platforms. Okay, so just a quick recap. So today is day 19. So as many of you are still joining, so I'm utilizing that time to give you that recap of previous session. So previously we talked about like what is threat intelligence actually. Threat intelligence, known as like it is not knowledge about your advisories, the tactics, techniques, or procedures. So basically, if you learn about threat intelligence, you help to identify like who is attacking, what they are doing, why are they targeting you, and how do you defend. Okay, so basically the SOC analyst is relying on threat intelligence for context while investigating any malicious alerts, right? So the SIM tool you are using, if they generate any alert, then while investigating, you are completely rely on threat intelligence context. So that's why the learning or the knowledge of threat intelligence is much important for you as an SOC analyst. So the type of threat intelligence we have is strategic, tactical, operational, technical, and then the key sources. So there are some key sources for SOC analysts like open source platforms, the commercial threat intelligence platforms, the incident data or internal logs, and then the communities. So we have multiple communities available for SOC analysts for threat intelligence also. So you can follow up those communities. So in today's topic, in day 19, I'm going to talk about those common threat intelligence platforms we have. So these are some of our like open source, some of our commercials. So you can use them. Okay. So I'm going to talk about one by one of all these 18, 19 threat intelligence platforms. So the very first threat intelligence platform we have is Anomaly Threat Stream. So the web address of this threat intelligence platform is this. So there is a application name mentioned here. You can open it in your browser. And the purpose of this particular threat intelligence is to like aggregate, normalize, or enrich threat data from multiple sources. It enables SOC analysts to operationalize threat intelligence by correlating IOCs with internal security data to detect, prevent, or respond to attack. So if I'm going to show you the application of this, so this is the application. Okay, and this is a very well-known threat intelligence platform. And as you are seeing on this application, that lets your data defend you. So we can use that platform for our collecting our threat intelligence things. Right. The next platform we have is okay. So first I'm going to talk about some of the key features of this Anomaly or threat stream platform. So the key features this threat intelligence platform prevent or respond to attack. So if I'm going to show you the application of this, so this is the application. Okay, and this is a very well-known threat intelligence platform. And as you are seeing on this application, that lets your data defend you. So we can use that platform for our collecting our threat intelligence things. Right. The next platform we have is okay. So first I'm going to talk about some of the key features of this Anomaly or threat stream platform. So the key features are like threat data aggregations or correlations or automations, orchestrations, threat sharings, or machine learning analytics. Because this particular platform is using machine learning, so AI/ML based scoring of prioritizing high confidence threats. Like suppose if you have any alert generated in your SIM tool, so using that platform you can score the alert for prioritizing purpose. Like if the alert is really important, or you should take priority to investigate it, or you can let them investigate later. So it basically works on AI/ML. That's That's why it is very useful, and most of the industry person are using that platform, right? It also gives you the context by linking different IOCs like domain IP hashes with MITRA techniques, advisories, or campaigns. Okay, so this is very much important platform in the context of threat intelligence. You should try it. The next platform we have is Threat Connect. Again, one of the commonly used platform for threat intelligence purpose is Threat Connect. Okay, it is also gives you the similar things which you have, or which you given by the anomaly, but the purpose of this platform, like it is help you to collect, to analyze, or to operationalize TI while also enabling automated response, right? So it basically generates some automated response and like the mean time to detect and mean time to response. So again, very useful platforms in order to investigate your alert. Then Recorded Future. So hopefully you are heard about this platform. This platform is a real-time threat intelligence that uses machine learning and natural language processing and big data analytics to provide actionable threat intelligence. Its main goal in SOC is to deliver predictive, contextual, and real-time intelligence for faster detection, hunting, and response against evolving threats. So if I give you, like if I show you the platform, this is the platform. And in this platform, you will see like we have like you can create your account. So go to login and then you can create your account and use that platform for your TI purpose. Okay, you can create an account with the help of Google or with the help of email address. So as many of the companies are using Recorded Future, so it is one of the common platform we have. Like you can see here, used by these big companies, and it has lots of data. Some of the CVs are also published, like today's threats. There is a section available in this application. In here, like today's threats and some common CVs disclosed on different products. So you get those informations. There are blogs of everything, the common attacks, government related attacks, right? So this is also very important. The next we have is MISP. This is particularly not a platform, it is a community. So you can use this community for collecting, storing, or sharing your IOCs and related to your attacks, like malware attacks or financial frauds, or maybe vulnerability exploits. Okay, so in SOC, MISP acts as a community-driven intelligence hub that enhances collaboration and help defenders operationalize threat data. And the web address of this project is misp-project.org. The next we have is a IBM X-Force Exchange. So this particular TI is developed by IBM. So it is a cloud-based TI sharing and analysis platform that allow you to consume, collaborate, and share the threat intelligence in real time. Right? Because IBM has some vast threat database research teams or the partner ecosystem. So that might be a game changer for you in order to collect or in order to get the information regarding your SOC. So you can give them a visit. The web address of IBM X-Force Exchange, the TI platform, is exchange.xforce.ibmcloud.com. Then we have a platform for Cisco Talos Intelligence Group, and it is developed by Cisco. So it is a research division of Cisco in which you will get the information you need for your TI purpose. So the web address or the application address of this platform is talosintelligence.com. So this platform particularly provides the SOC team with global threat intelligence, malware research, or vulnerability analysis data, and the Cisco security product related updates. Like Cisco has a very vast products in order to like firewalls, email security, endpoint protections, IDS, IPS, routers, right? So the main purpose of this particular platform is to detect, analyze, or respond to the threats, right, in a global scale. So that's why these are globally available platforms are much important than the common platforms we have like Recorded Future or Threat Connect. But the IBM, the Cisco, these are the very well-known platform. They have a very vast data. They have a very good research team. So it's better to use those platforms instead of the common platforms we have. Then we have, I hope you heard about the Palo Alto. So generally we learn these things in a network. Like if some of you are doing the network related certificates, like if you are studying CCNP or CCNA, then hopefully you heard about this. So Palo Alto is generally used in firewall, but it also has its own threat intelligence platform. So you can visit the application of this, paloaltonetworks.com, and then you can use the database for your threat intelligence purpose. It is also a cloud-based threat intelligence platform, and you can use for your SOC analyst. Then we have CrowdStrike. This is developed by Microsoft. So CloudStrike Falcon X is a cloud-native threat intelligence platform built into a CrowdStrike Falcon ecosystem. So the main purpose of this particular platform is to deliver the real-time automated threat intelligence, malware analysis, or enhancing the SOC capabilities for threat hunting, incident response, and proactive defenses. So these four, IBM, Cisco, Palo Alto, and CrowdStrike, these are common platforms, or these are platforms that used much in the industry, apart from the previous platforms. And if I talk about the communities, then NISP is the best community to collect the information. Then we have Checkpoint Threat Cloud. So Checkpoint is also a threat intelligence platform that provides real-time protection by analyzing or distributing IOCs, malware data, right? So its purpose to supply checkpoint security product like firewall, IPS, endpoints, cloud security. So if your infrastructure is heavily relied on firewalls or IPSs or endpoints or clouds, then as an SOC, you should use this platform, Checkpoint Threat Cloud. So the address of this is checkpoint.com, and it also has some, like you can block some malicious activities also in SOC environment. So it has that capability to detect those malicious behaviors and actionable threat intelligence. Then Kaspersky. So you heard the Kaspersky as an antivirus, but at Kaspersky is also has a threat intelligence portal. So you can use the subdomain of Kaspersky, which is opentip.kaspersky.com, and it provides the real-time TI to help SOC analysts, incident responders, and threat hunters, right, to investigate or to respond the cyber threats. Then I can teach you code in Python in just 30 days, even if you've never written a single line of code before. How? Simple. In my 30-day Python using AI bootcamp, you don't learn to code the hard way anymore. You learn to think like a developer. Then alien work. This is the basic provides the real-time TI to help SOC analysts, incident responders, and threat hunters, right, to investigate or to respond the cyber threats. Then alien work. This is the basically free, or you can use like the open source platform for collecting the information that you need for TI. Alien World OTX, right? And the application or the address of this platform is otx.alienworld.com. So as you are the part of cybersecurity domain, I hope you heard about the web archive. So it works similar like web archive. So if I'm going to show you this platform, so otx.alienworld.com, you can visit it, and you need to create an account. But suppose you need to search something, right? So I'm basically putting some things, and let's see what it returns. You can scan your endpoints also. There is a section available. You can integrate with APIs. But suppose if I search like iOS indicators are also there, malware families, industries, advisories, users, right? But on searching, suppose Google, right? And let's see. So it basically giving me the data. Like the domain I provide, google.com, then files 834K, the URL is 6 million around, the DNS is 1K, the analysis overview, you will get everything. The who is record, the passive DNSs, the associated URLs. As you are seeing, like some of the URLs are Google Drive links, right? So this open source database is very important. You can also check out the associate files, like hashes are there, the malicious activities are there, HTTP scans are there, the relatable domains are there, right? So you can use those open source platform much rather than using a commercial platform. After the alien world, we have insight threat. After the alien world, we have insight threat intelligence platform. So the web address is something like this: qmasters.co/partner/insight-threat intelligence platform. So this particular platform will help you to collect the external TI information from dark web, deep web, or open sources. Right. The main goal is similar to the other platforms, like giving the SOC teams some data so they can investigate further. But it also gives you the early warning for external threats like leaked credentials, phishing attacks, or generating some automated response. Then we have Eclectic Q. So the platform is basically helping you or SOC to analyze or operationalize TI. So as you are seeing or you are learning about all these platform names, I hopefully you heard some of them, or maybe none of them, or maybe all of them. But one thing is very similar. Like all these platforms are designed, or they are helping the SOC teams. Whenever you are investigating any alert, any malicious activity that comes into your infrastructure or captured by the SIM tool or any other tool, or suppose you are using MDR, XDR, or SOAR tools, so you need some context to investigate those data. And if you do not have that context, so it's a very, like, you will face some difficulties to investigate it. Like if some file is downloaded in your infrastructure through some web activity, and the SIM generates an alert, like face some difficulties to investigate it. Like if some file is downloaded in your infrastructure through some web activity, and the SIM generates an alert, like a malicious file that TI is stored or indicating as a malicious, like it contains some malware, or it is picked by common platforms, and that file comes into your system somehow, and the SIM generates an alert, and then you want to investigate it. So you need some context, like if that file is picked before, where it is come from, the common entry points, the common locations where it is installed. So the SOC teams basically sharing those information through different communities, and these TI platforms contains those data, as you are seeing on Alien World, right? So TI platforms is much useful when you are investigating any threat. If your job is only to create rules for, or like suppose you are working on SOC, or you are working on SIM tools, and your job is to creating the alerting rules, or just checking if any activity is recorded or not, or you are seeing the events, like if something happened or not, then you will not use those TI platforms. But if you are investigating it, if you are in the threat intelligence team, then maybe you will use some of these platforms, or maybe a particular platform or a commercial platform. It all depends on your organization. Sometimes they are not using, or they are heavily relies on open source platforms. Sometimes they are using the commercial platforms, or you are receiving any alert and want or need some context, then you are asking on some communities like NISP, right? So the common thing is, like, these all platforms will give you the information you need. And what information for need? We need some context, like who is attacking, where this attack comes from, it is happened before, if some particular products are affected, or if this thing can be prioritized, if you should take the immediate action, or if you should categorize as P3 or P4, right? So you need that context to investigate those threats, and that's why the TI platforms or portals or communities or commercial tools or open source tools are very important. So I basically collected the top TI platforms in these slides. You will get that slide like as before. We are uploading those. I'm uploading those slides on the drive, and the link is available in the description, so you will get that. but you need to at least use one TI platform to understanding of the context. You are investigating any IOCs, and then you need to use a one platform for your practice. So as some of these platforms are commercial, so I suggest like you can use Alienbot. Okay, then we have Flashpoint Threat Intelligence. Similarly, it is focused on commercial, so I suggest like as some of these platforms are commercial, so I suggest like you can use Alienbot. Okay, then we have Flashpoint Threat Intelligence. Similarly, it is focused on deep and dark web intelligence, fraud detections, insider threat monitoring, and geopolitical. Risk intelligence, right? So why this is different from the previous platforms? So it is different because that mainly provides IOCs, Flashpoint basically emphasize the contextual intelligence from underground forms, marketplaces or chat services, right? So it builds SOC, CTI, and fraud teams to proactively detect threats before they escalate.
You just ordered from Myntra. Congrats! You just overpaid. Every Myntra order you place without buy Hacking Chrome extension, that's...
Then Digital Shadow Searchlight, this is also a platform, and then Shadow Searchlight, this is also a platform, and the address is this. It also helps the SOC team to identify or remediate the external risks. Then we have Fortinet. Fortinet is one of the industry level organizations, so there are multiple products are there, but Fortinet, FortiGuard Labs, this is the URL, and FortiGuard Labs is the TI platform for Fortinet, so you can access those data. Then Reversing Labs, this is again a common platform, and ThreatQ. So I basically highlight this ThreatQ because ThreatQ is designed to aggregate or operationalize TI, so you can use it. Okay, so these are the common platforms we have. Let me count it how many of these platforms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So these are the 18 platforms we have for TI purpose. Some of them are commercial, some of them are open source, some are communities. So hopefully you will get the information like you need for TI platforms. So it's very important to learn TI platforms or threat intelligence. Learn about IOCs, how to investigate it, how to get the context, how to find if the alert is really important, you should take immediate action, or if the alert is not that much important, if the malware is seen before, if the malware is spread by common communities, right? You can get everywhere is find if the alert is really important, you should take immediate action, or if the alert is not that much important, if the malware is seen before, if the malware is spread by common communities, right? You can get everything when you do or when you use those platforms. Okay, so now our day 19 topic is end here, and when we connect tomorrow, I'm going to tell you the next topic, which is understanding the MIT framework. So that will be our topic for day 20. Understanding the MIT, that will be our topic for day 20. So that ATT and CK attack framework. So hopefully you enjoyed this session. If you like the video, if you like this stream, make sure you like the video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you give me a subscribe, and you can check out the other videos that are available on the channel. I'm running a bug suit series, and soon I'm going to start some series related to pen testing as well, pen testing or the red teaming or the web testing or Android testing. Okay, you can track these sessions using session tracker links, the resource drive links in which all the resources are available. You can join the Telegram group for discussion, and if you want to learn something from me like the pen testing or SOC as one-to-one mentorship or in a group,
Spiste. Jo, jeg liker fisk. Sett.
Unnskyld, jeg fant et hår i suppen min.
Ha.
God kveld. Ha en hyggelig dag. De lytter.
Utenfor. Hvordan det?
Hei. Takk.
Sist.
Ja, gjerne det. Ja, gjerne det. Ja, gjerne det. Ja, gjerne det.
Denne pizzaen er sykt.
God.
Takk, i like måte. Jeg må snakke med deg. Jeg må snakke med deg.
Endelig kom han. Endelig kom han.
बारिश हुई अब और मसालेदार with Maggi curry masala and Maggi tandoori masala. Try the new Maggi flavors today.
At BIT Mumbai, our engineering curriculum equips students with the skills and confidence to lead in future tech.
Recording. So I think, I think it would have started recording. Yeah, so I think it should be fine. All right, thank you. Thanks for reminding Mika. Okay, so is this clear, all of you? Yes, no, maybe?
But interview they ask you to explain the law.
In the interview, you're asking if they're going to ask you to explain the law? No, they're not going to ask you. No.
Or they ask what is the law.
They might just ask you, till now, I mean, I'm not faced where they ask you what's a log, but if they ask you, it's a basic definition, whatever you say, any record that has been, all the devices manages the record, it records all the events, right? You can just tell that is nothing but a log, right? But nobody will ask you, right, that can you explain this log to me? No. We did this activity so that we understand what a log is, right? Because I can give you access to Splunk, I can ask you guys to, I can straight away start with Splunk. But then there'll be a lot of logs. Before we jump into the sea, we should know at least a little bit of swimming, right? So this log is such that when you see it, you should not, it should not bounce off over your head. You just have to have the basic understanding. That's it. That's the only reason. It's the foundation, right? That's the only reason we did this activity. In the interview, whatever I'm going to teach from today, whatever I'm going to tell you guys from today is something, you can focus for your interviews. Okay, and I'll tell you what has been asked in the interview in the past. What are the things that you have to focus on? I'll definitely tell you guys. I'll mention about it. You don't have to worry. Okay. Everybody on the same page. Jimana, Avinash, Chandru, Sufri,
Yes, okay.
Gaurav, Kyan, Deepak, Vineet, Shweta. Yes.
Good stuff, man.
Okay, cool. So let's jump into. I think you guys are waiting. There's a long-awaited topic. SIM. So SIM. What is SIM? So we'll just understand the basics as to why are we even learning SIM, right? So I'll take the questions once I complete explaining. All right. So I'll go back and see the questions later, right, in the chat. But before we jump in, let me tell you why are we even learning about SIM, right? Why is there so much of weightage on SIM, right? So sorry. Okay, so as analysts, as SOC analysts, right, what is our job? At least you might guys have a little idea, right? Like what does a SOC analyst do? So anybody wants to give it a try? Anybody?
Analyze logs.
Okay, analyze logs, all right.
Analyze the logs and follow the
Can you come again?
Analyze the log and raise the incident.
Analyze the logs, raise the incident, monitoring the network, monitoring and analyzing the data. Okay, all right. So I'm not sharing my screen. One moment. All right. So yes, all of you are right. Okay, we are there to make sure that our that we monitor our infrastructure. To monitor our infrastructure, right? What have we done? We have installed something called as a SIM. It's a centralized unit wherein we get logs from all these devices, right? We use this a component called as SIM, wherein we get logs from various devices and we analyze using SIM. So without SIM, right? Whatever you guys did till yesterday, we will have to do that manually. Is that practical?
practically
It's not
impossible.
practical, right? Imagine, we took a lot of time to even, analyze this hardly 4 or 5 logs because it is completely new for many of you, right? So it is not ideal. I mean, it is practically impossible for a person to sit and analyze these logs from different sources, right? If I have to monitor Windows logs, then I have to, probably check, monitor only the Windows logs. If I have to check the, firewall logs, then probably it dumps the logs onto a different machine and I have to sit and analyze the logs there. It is practically not possible, right? That's the reason. SIM becomes an important tool in our, analyzing, in collecting the logs, right? You should have all the logs in one centralized location. Otherwise, wouldn't it be very difficult to log into each and every monitoring security control or each and every, machine or server and trying to analyze the log? It is not possible. So we need some kind of a centralized location wherein we can get all of these logs in one place, right? And we can add some intelligence to it and, probably analyze the logs, write some rules, right? So that is the reason SIM plays a very important role. SIM plays an important role. All right. So if we go ahead, right? So initially it was called as security information management. All right. So it was mostly focused on storing of the data, right? One centralized location, storing the data, all right, and definitely for compliance purpose. Okay. So they were just analyzing the data, storing the data, analyzing it, and basic reporting and stuff that was done initially. That's why it's called security information management. Whatever the data, you're managing the data, right? So it's called security information management. But over a period of time, what happened? They thought, okay, since we are already getting all the logs, it's a real-time data that we are getting, right? We can monitor the real-time data, and probably if there is any mismatch, if let's say if there is any behavior which is looks suspicious, probably we can trigger that as some kind of an event. Right, we can probably check those any mismatch. If let's say if there is any behavior which is looks suspicious, probably we can trigger that as some kind of an event. Right, we can probably check those specific abnormalities. So that's the reason. It was it evolved into something called as security event management. All right. And over a period of time, it is still evolving, right? It is still evolving. So after a period of time, these two were clubbed, and then we call it as SIEM, security information and event management. So what did we do yesterday? We were getting the logs from various devices. These are just single. These are just logs from just one log from one particular device, right? Imagine getting thousands of such logs per hour or minute, however big your organization is, right? Imagine getting so many logs. Right? So what happens? You need a centralized solution. That's the reason you collect the logs from various sources. You put it in one place. We're going to call it as SIM. Whatever you want to analyze, whatever you want to, however you want to manage the data, right? We are doing it from one console. We're doing it from one console. On top of that, we are adding some intelligence. When I say intelligence, it could be as simple as creating an alert. Like if at all this criteria meets, for example, like I said yesterday, if at all we see connections towards port 53, destination port 53, trigger an alert. A simple one I'm just talking. Trigger an alert. So what happens? So SIM has the capability to go through the log, right? If at all it sees any traffic wherein it says the destination port, this is the destination port, right? Destination port is equal to 53, it will trigger an alert. Right? So all of these things can be done in using a solution called as SIM. Okay, so to put it in a very simple way, let's take a to understand how this actually works, right? How SIM actually works. We'll take a very simple example. All right, I'll come back to this. Right, I'll tell you why I do an upside down triangle. So to take a very layman kind of an example, everybody knows supermarkets, right? So probably in the US it's like Target, or in India like something like Big Bazaar, right? Big Bazaar or any such supermarkets. It's like one-stop shop wherein sorry, I missed some messages. Okay, yeah.
Lucidchart makes intelligent diagramming easy and helps your best ideas become real. Start from scratch or get started with templates. Shape your ideas with hundreds of shape libraries, from technical systems to flowcharts and process maps and even work charts. Lucidchart integrates with your favorite software applications, so it works where you work.
So for any supermarket like your Target or your Big Bazaar, wherein you get into that like Big Bazaar, you get all the things, not only food, right? You get electronics, you get home supplies, you get stationery, right? You get everything. So let's say you guys have very short period of time, right? You have a time constraint and you have to shop for a lot of things. So many people opt going to such places wherein under one roof you get multiple things. Yes or no? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, in one place you get everything. You're saving the time as well. You're getting whatever you want, right? You will definitely opt for such places. So let's take an example of something called as a Big Bazaar. So like I said, Big Bazaar is nothing but a retail outlet, right? It's a retail outlet like your Target, correct? One-stop shop for everything. So in this particular Big Bazaar, you get everything. You get electronics, you get stationery, you get food, groceries, right? And what else? Clothing, electrical appliances done, right? You get all of these. So now tell me, right? How does this work? How does this work? So when you're setting up, the store, Big Bazaar store, right? Will we get electronics, stationery, groceries, food, cloth from one single person? Is there one single supplier for all of these things?
No.
Is there only one person who's going to dump all of these things for me, or I'm going to get it from different people?
Different people.
Correct? I'm going to have different vendors, right? I might get clothing. Even under clothing, if you see, right, there are multiple brands. Right? There are multiple brands like Levi's. We have Levi's. We have H&M. I'm just giving an example. There's no H&M in Big Bazaar, but just for learning's sake, right? So let's say Levi's things are there's a different vendor for who deals with Levi's clothing. So that person gives us all the dumps all of it. A different person for H&M, different person for food, different for grocery, stationery, and electronics, right? Even in electronics, you have multiple brands, right? So you have different vendors for that also. So can we not take it as different log sources? So let's, for an analogy sake, we can think electronic, whatever, electronics, let it be from like your servers. You have multiple servers, right? You have multiple servers, you have multiple host machines, you have multiple, security monitoring devices, right? So all of these are what? These are different log sources. From where we are getting the logs. Very much similar to logs is the things, whatever these Big Bazaar guys get, right? So electronics, stationery, groceries, whatever, they'll have different vendors, right? They will have different vendors, and these vendors come and drop everything to the warehouse, right? So once, let's say, all of this is what Big Bazaar deals with, right? All of this, and the vendors come to the warehouse, right? They're going to drop everything in the warehouse. So what happens in the warehouse? What happens in the warehouse once they drop everything?
Packaging and
From the warehouse, representative will take it to their main places.
Yeah. So before that, don't you think they would probably okay, so now all of this is dumped in the warehouse. So now the warehouse manager or the warehouse person, what do? Let's say everything gets dumped, all right, on a single day, right? So what do these people do? Don't you think they once they unload everything, right? They're going to rip off the packaging. Of course, they come in huge cartons, right? Let's say your soaps or your stationery, right? It comes in huge boxes, right? So they're going to rip off all of those unwanted packaging, the bubble wrap, the paper wrap, whatever, right? They're going to discard all of that, and they're going to arrange it in different aisles or rows. Yes. Why are they arranging it? Why do you think they'll arrange everything? You guys understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So arrange rows. Yes. Why are they arranging it? Why do you think they'll arrange everything? You guys understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry.
for easy of access.
Yeah, correct. Exactly, for the ease, right? If at all the person goes, dumps everything in one particular place, then again, if they have to go back and search, it would be a mess. It would be a mess. So what do? Once they get all of these things, once it gets dumped in your warehouse, right? Once it gets dumped in the warehouse people, what do? They're going to rip off the unwanted packaging from your bubble wrap, whichever is not needed. They're going to unpack everything, all right? Then they're going to arrange it in a proper row or a rack, whatever you call it as. Right? So when they are arranging it, for ease of understanding, they would have mentioned, okay, this row belongs to, this row is only for storing stationery. Alright, only for stationery. So once the stationery items are got, once they remove all the packaging, they're going to rack, they're going to store, or they're going to stack everything in the row or the rack which says stationery. Similarly, when the food comes, right, when the food, let's say eatable, or these consumables, right, when that comes, they might have a separate row or a rack which is called as consumables, and they're going to store everything. They're going to stack everything over here in this. This is but see, that's consumables, right? Similarly, when the food or when the clothing comes, right, they might have a different rack which says it is for wardrobe, and they're going to stack all the clothing here. Why are they doing it? They're doing it because in the front store, right, where we people have access to, right, when we people have access to, right, when we are shopping, let's say there are a few items from stationery which is empty, right? They have to go and refill it, right? So what do? They have to, these guys, the warehouse people, they have to go to the warehouse. They don't have to go and search where should I get stationery from. They know where to go. Where will they go? They will go to the row which is tagged as stationery, right? There will be a label, right? This is where the stationeries are stored. They will go here. They will fetch the stationery. They will come back and refill it. Right? Had there been no labeling or had there been no categorization, wouldn't it be difficult for that person to go find out in this whole big warehouse where will that person go and find stationery? It would take a lot of time. Yes or no? Yeah, that's the only reason. What did they do? They categorized everything. They labeled everything so that everything is in a very organized way. And how will this help me? This will help me when I'm trying to refill something or when I'm trying to get something from my warehouse. Right? Did everybody understand till here?
Yeah.
Yeah, easy to pick. Correct. So, Chandru, Mohammed, Avinash, Deepak, Syed, everybody able to understand? So far, so good?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. So, very much similar to that, is our SIM solution. Right? So, before we jump into SIM, let me talk about these vendors. So what about these vendors? How will they come and dump the things onto the warehouse? There should be some contract, right? There should be some contract. There should be some transportation, right? Only then they will come to my warehouse and drop the stuff. Either I go get it or they come and dump it, right? There should be some transport. There should be some contract between the big bazaar people and the vendor. Yes or no?
Yeah.
There'll be some kind of a contract like, yes, I need, I would need the stuff from you guys. Let's say, just for example, let's say I'm just going to tell them, please dump all the vegetables or every Monday morning or every alternate days, within this time. And the transportation is all yours. You guys have to get, the transportation should be taken care by the vendor. They will sign a contract, so they will have a vehicle. They're going to collect the vegetables. They're going to come and drop it off in big bazaar. Right? So very much similar to that. What happens in SIM is, right? It collects all the data, right? Like our warehouse. From where does it collect? Now we don't have to think about clothing and stuff here. Here, all our data is from servers. It could be application servers. It could be antivirus server. Correct? It could be it could be your FTP. What is FTP? File transfer. So there are few servers which is used only for transferring the file. Why do we use such things? Because let's say we have multiple clients. All right, we deal with a lot of clients day in and day out. There are a lot of documents which both of us exchange, right? And we might have to refer to that. They might have to refer to it, right? So we might set up a file transfer server, FTP server. All right, wherein this will be this server will be able to access. The clients will be able to access the server. Even we will be able to access the server, share the information, share the data over here. Okay, so we might get logs from such servers. You have something called as a web server. What is a web server? What is a web server? So let's say SOCexperts.com, right? I just mentioned as SE, SOCexperts.com. So you go to your magic.SOCexperts.com, you put in your attendance and stuff, right? So this is not just floating around there in the internet. In the backend, there is a server on which all the code, all the files of this particular website are stored. Right? You have written the piece of code, you have installed that particular layer of software like your Apache. Apache is nothing but your it's like an application using which you write your HTML code and stuff, you do all the coding and stuff, and if you make the server public, right, it picks up this particular piece of code and you will have a website. Okay, so this website is not just floating around. There's a piece of information that is stored somewhere in a server, right? That is called as a hosting server. Hosting means hosting, someone who is taking care of it. When you say in your house, we hosted a party, that means what? I am throwing a party. I am taking the lead. I am taking the ownership, right? So here, this server host, please try to use such words so that these are few technical words, right, which anybody would expect out of you, all right? So when I say this website is hosted on a server, that means let's say the server is 10 dot something, all right? And this is my SE website. So I can say my SOC Experts website is hosted on 10 dot blah 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 server. That means the piece of code from where this website runs is all on this 10 dot blah 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 server, okay? And this is called as a web server. Is that clear?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so do let me know if you do not understand because I'm checking messages. Yes. Okay, yeah. So this is my web server, and I can get the logs from the web server. You will understand it more in a better way when we do it practically, and we will be doing it practically. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm getting the logs from my web server also. I'm getting it from my FTP server. AV is nothing but your antivirus server. So from all of these we get, and also let's say there are some other critical machines. We can get logs from those machines. Tools. What are tools? Any security tools or any other internal tools, right? We can get the logs from there also. So multiple logs, right? We need a centralized thing like how we did in the warehouse. So very much similar. The first stage in SIM, how it processes the data, it collects everything in a centralized repository. It is a centralized repository. All right. It gets all of these logs, stores it in one place, one single place. All right. Now, what is this? What is this? What symbol is this? You guys should make yourself aware of these symbols also. Okay. So what symbol is this? Yeah. This is very good. This is the database. Yes. DT. All right. So whenever you see the symbol, please understand that it is a database. So what is a database? Simplest of the simplest terms, where the data is stored. Right. Wherever you store the data. Finally, even my web server, right? It has to store the data somewhere. Right? Even in the backend, it might go check the database. It might retrieve some information from the database. Right? So database is a place where we store the data. Okay, so I can get the logs from my database as well. And what is this? This is very simple.
Firewall.
Yeah, firewall, and we all know what firewall is. So firewall. The thing with firewall is you can't directly dump logs, or you can't directly take the logs from firewall. All right. So why? Because I'll come to that. Why? So you guys might ask me, how is it that we are getting all these details? How can we get all this data from various machines? How? Okay, we'll get it, but how? In our big bazaar example, right? We had something like a contract. We had the transport. We had the vehicle which would dump all the logs. Here also we need something like a vehicle which would dump the logs, right?
What is the agent?
That vehicle. Yes, absolutely. That vehicle is your agent. Like your James Bond agent, right? So what does this